All right, here we go. Now, Matthew, you've got full beer there. Oh, we've already opened. Well, I haven't opened mine yet. Here we go. Ready? This is the big production. We're going to start, and that's the starting of proceedings. So if everyone at home is watching, my name is Dave Stanley. I'm joined by Matt Hendricks. Everyone at home, open a can. If you've got the can, if you've got a stubby and you're still waiting for the cans to arrive, and we'll touch on that shortly. This is the beginning of about 45 minutes of some very good fun. I'm very honoured to be sitting here tonight. About 6 years ago, I moved to Sydney town, and I'd never ever had Reschs in my life. Grew up in Queensland and drank that terrible 4X stuff, and I've been converted. I moved to Sydney, rocked up at a bar, and I saw this wonderful sign, Reschs. Now, I'll be really honest with you, the young girl that served me actually said it was a craft beer when I first bought it, and I thought, and that's why I was lured to purchasing it. But I'm so glad that she made that mistake, because I have absolutely fallen in love with the beer they call Reschs, the beer that we drink around here. I'm really honoured to be, and I said to be a part of this. I work for the team at 2K Lions, Sky Sports Radio, and I mentioned on the radio program, so a couple of guys I work with, Laurie Daly and Michael Clark, and the team, that I loved Reschs. And someone from the society was listening. Matt got in contact with me and they asked me to be involved tonight. So we're going to chat to Matt in a moment, but we've got, just from our little briefing, already a lot of big surprises coming your way. We've got a statement too from CUB we'll get to, and also away from the beer, we're really going to, I think, prove how wonderful it is when a community of everyone that's joining us tonight and on this page, when we all get together and dig deep, how good we can be, especially for a good cause. Matt, I'm going to stop talking. You're going to start talking. Matt, when this all started, did you ever think we would be sitting here holding a can with Reschs Pilsner, and also then having your story, not only on the can, but also on the back of the carton?
Absolutely not. No, when we started, I was just about to fall asleep in the car park of, or in the parking lot of my mate's parents' place. We've just been out all night at Terrigal on a Bucks weekend, and it was 3 o'clock, and I was remonstrating about how many VBs I'd had to consume, and that's about as far as I thought. So to be honest, I had no idea we'd get anywhere.
Okay, so you've been at the Bucks, you've started it, and this is for the members that have just joined that are maybe wanting to learn a little bit more about. So you've gone, bugger this, I'm sick of this VB. Yeah. We need to get Reschs back.
Absolutely, and no one was interested in the. We were all camped out on the floor, and no one else was interested. But I sort of sat there remonstrating, and I have a feeling we had to kind of correct the typos the next day. But that's where it started.
So it started there. Okay, so what was the initial response? Because like anything, there has to be a point where there has to be motivation and from outsiders for you to keep it going. So if there was only the one or two people, you might have not put as much everything, but it just snowballed, did it?
Well, I mean, the first year or so, I reckon we had about 100 people, and that was really blocked up by all of my mates that I'd kind of forced to be members, and gradually as they'd kind of drop off, I'd add more mates, and then slowly but surely people like Grant Errington got involved and started to really kind of push the thing, and I've got to say, it's kind of one of these exponential things. It kind of went pandemic on us a couple of years ago. Okay,
tell me why you believe, and there'll be beer connoisseurs watching this at the moment. So I've only ever had this, obviously on tap, Reschs, and then with the draft, and also in the bottle. I can't believe, and this is the first time I've had it in a can, because I never had it 15 years ago when it was in the can. Why does it taste so bloody good? I can't, what is it?
I mean, I'm not actually a beer connoisseur, I just freaking love Reschs. But my view is it's actually a beer that was always the silver bullet. It's always been the silver bullet for the last 15 years, and it's gone home, and it's just a happier beer, happier beverage in there. But when it touches your lips, the can feels colder. It's a far superior drop.
It's unbelievable. So if you do have a can at home, or maybe you can comment on that. You are, as far as I'm concerned, everyone in this membership group, this association or society, is a beer connoisseur. So tell us on the I was going to say the text line. It's like I'm on the radio here. It's on the text line, but comment on the below on the video as to why you believe the silver bullets are better than the bottles. Now we've got a big auction which is happening. Now you received, and we saw this photo a couple of weeks ago now, of the first ever case to come through, or one of the first cases to come through. He's actually kept the consignment note, haven't you, from the team from Toll or wherever it was.
Yeah.
So this is up for grabs, and people can be bidding on this, and they also get this esky as well. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about this for weeks in advance, and we made sure someone in the production team took the first case off.
Yep.
She grabbed it, posted on it immediately, wrapped it in brown paper bag, or brown paper, put it with the remaining kind of 4 cases, and shipped them off to me immediately. So we've got the consignment note, we've got the name of the lady that packed it off the production line. It arrived at HQ on the 6th of August. We've got the photos of it arriving in HQ, and we've got a certificate of authenticity. So anyone wants the probably the most expensive case of beer ever, but also probably the most famous one, will bid up, and all of those proceeds are going to an amazing charity we're going to hear a bit more about, called My Men's Team.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Now, at the moment, the top bid at the moment, we'll go straight to it, is Kip Skelly on $1,201. He was beating here Danny Webb. Now, Danny, if you're watching, surely you've got $1. Go and clear the ashtray out in the car or something, because there's a bloke beating you by $1. Surely we could. 1201. If Kip Skelly can continue to hold on to this for the remainder of the night, you're a hero, or will there be another hero out there that can chime in? And it's going all to a good cause. You can have that first Reschs, the silver bullets from 15 years. Now, before I get to that comment from CUB, because we do have a comment from CUB, and we know there's been a lot of chatter on the page in the last couple of days about, well, when is my beer arriving? And I think that's a little bit to do with what type of world we're in at the moment. There's, you wouldn't think in years gone by that people would be blowing up about when their beer's going to arrive, but they are. This is like their silver lining for this. So we'll get to that comment in a moment from CUB. We've got something, and I'll tell you what, at the end of it, I just want you all to take note of their last sentence of that statement I read out. But the winning bidder, just on collecting this, because I know you've got this written down here. So it's at Brookvale, currently at the office at the moment. So we're talking about the collection and away.
You donate the money direct to the charity.
Yeah.
And they've already got a donation button on their website, mymensteam.org. And
yeah, you got it right.
So as long as you show me evidence that you've donated, if you've won, then you can come and collect it.
And on the Facebook, because obviously you're watching this on your computers or phones at the moment, if you actually look in the comments, you'll see the link in there for that auction. So get involved and bid away. And as I said, Kip, it's up to you to try and hold on. Now, I do have a statement here from CUB, our good friends at CUB, and I'm going to read this out to you. And this it basically sums up what's been sort of happening the last sort of couple of days. I hope this clears the air for everyone, and I hope we can just get on and enjoy our silver bullets. What a night. Who would have ever thought that we would find ourselves here building on history? Firstly, we dip our lids to Matt Hendricks for kicking off this journey. There has been a lot of hard work over the last 6 months remaining re-imaging Reschs Pilsner into the footsteps of Edmund Resch, and we can't thank Matt and indeed all of the RAS members enough for their passionate involvement in the return of the silver bullet. Of course, last week has been tough on all our brewers, logistics, sales and marketing men and women, many of whom are passionate members and who I know have all been let down that pre-ordered. But in the spirit of the RAS, we have all pulled together in difficult conditions to get an incredible 1,300 cases of silver bullets out of our New South Wales warehouse yesterday, and sent specifically to RAS members, which means that tonight marks the perfect time for a launch as these cases roll out around the country in the next week. And when you open up that first case, please be sure to reflect on the significance of the call out of the society on the base of the carton. We're pretty sure this is a world first and couldn't be more befitting tribute from us to the amazing men and women of the Reschs Appreciation Society and the dream that Matt Hendricks had 10 years ago. Now we know blind at the Bucks party, so I tell you what, that is a world's first. We dread to think what's next. So you going to your Bucks party soon or anything? Anything else happening?
No, my mates are married.
No, okay, well, anyway. But look, we'd be happy to chat about it over a few silver bullets. Now, this is the one thing that I want us to all remember from this statement. We'd be happy to chat about it over a few silver bullets when the time is right at the next RAS event. We'll provide the beer. cheers the team at CUB. So basically, all I'm taking from Matt is that we're going to be absolutely bleeding Reschs Pilsner and Reschs Draft at the next.
Absolutely.
The
And
next
we'll
event.
hold them to it.
We'll be holding him to it, and everyone out there will be holding him to him too. But look, it was obviously people were, the frustrations came about in the last couple of days. But you know what? It's only a case of beer, and we're all going to get it, and we're all going to go and buy more cases of it and enjoy it. And you know what? It's back. It could be a lot worse things happening in the world. Right. So that's the statement. Now, we've heard about how it all started, and if people, by the way, want to annoy you more and ask you more questions about how this all begun, can I see you're quite interactive on the Facebook page.
Sure.
Just throw
I'm
it
having a
in
bit of a break at the moment. So very
We
busy.
can't go anywhere at the moment, you're stuck. But there is some more exciting things that are happening though down the track, which we are going to get to. Now, there is a charity that you mentioned. We are here and we're celebrating,
Yes.
and we're making a huge donation. Before we make that donation, the societies, and I didn't know this because I've sort of been in the society for a little while, but I didn't understand how much everyone dig deep. So was it here 30,000 in the last 18 months? 2,000 of the RFS, the firefighting service, and 28,000 of Movember.
Yeah, we've donated over 30,000 to charities there. All that money is up in lights and it's linked from our website. So it's been pretty extraordinary. I mean, when we started doing merchandise on a larger scale, we kind of thought, well, what are we even doing this for? And we needed a deeper purpose. So we felt like, well, let's this group for me, it's more than a bunch of people that like beers. We're actually a bunch of guys that support each other. That are, guys and girls, sorry, that support each other and what it's been for me is at times it's even been a light in a dark day, and I know it's that for other people. So we felt like we should seek charities that sort of build people up and Movember felt like a good fit last year. We're going to announce a different partnership for the year ahead.
All right, we've got another special guest joining us. Oh, actually, no. Before we get the special guest, one of the initiatives.
Yes.
Now, when I arrived, Matt pulled out a passport, and I went, "What on earth are you? What is this? We can't go anywhere. We're Kingsford Smith shut." So, talk to us about the Reschs passport. Now, take note of this, is everyone, and I'm keen to see how many of you out there can actually knock this off, because this is a bit of a challenge.
There's another one somewhere. Someone can find it.
Yeah, there's one in here.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The one with paper in it's better.
So that's just a mock.
Yeah.
That's just a mock. Very good. I like it.
So here's the deal, guys. We've put our heart and soul into a big launch, and we've helped CUB, we've helped Kogan. We've been a bit let down, but our next big initiative was always planned to be to help the venues that we depend on, right? The venues out there are our lifeblood. They're the people that are that are pouring beers for us every day of the week. And so what our next venture is the Reschs Appreciation Society passport. Now it's only going to have a certain number of pages, and so you're going to have to be a preferred venue to get into this bad boy. But effectively, there's a spot for every venue to stamp your passport when you visit and buy a Reschs. It's not okay to buy a passion fruit stout. But if you get a Reschs...
Just on that, who even comes up, like, if you're making beer,
Oh, that's brilliant.
why would you want to I don't understand this. I
I
saw watermelon the other day, like...
Talking to the wrong guy, yeah, I don't know. We just like beer that tastes like beer,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, here's the deal. We haven't even got to
Yes,
the part.
yeah.
So you're going to get your passport, you're going to go around. If you get to every venue in this passport in a 52-week period, you're going to get knighted. And you're going to be authorised to use the post-nominals OOR after your name. I'm sure the government will sanction it.
Yeah.
But that stands for Order of Resch. There's going to be a medal which will only ever be given out by a Resch, and we happen to have one here today.
Right.
But basically, if you want to get an Order of Resch, you want to go down in history, you're going to want to get one of these passports, you're going to want to fill it, and you're going to want to travel to every one of those 60 preferred venues.
So 60 venues in a year.
Absolutely. And you get a a discount anyway, right? So
Yes.
you're saving money every time you're buying a schooner. It practically pays for your petrol.
Now, the other thing too is that these 60 venues, and I can actually, because I know with my particular work in the racing game, we're doing a lot of country stuff and a lot of focus. So some of these venues aren't in the metro areas.
Yep.
So it's a really good opportunity to support
Absolutely.
our local communities. Our
That's
local
what we want to
public,
do.
our
That's
country public.
absolutely.
All right, bang. So 60 venues in a year and you get the knighthood.
Absolutely.
Oh, look out. All right. So be watching the Facebook page intently over the next couple of weeks, can we say? Or it'll all sort of
Next
filter
couple of
out?
weeks. I think it'll take us a while because I
Give
have a
the bloke
feeling.
a break.
I have a feeling a bunch of preferred venues are going to want to be in that passport, right?
Yes.
So we'll have a cut-off. It'll probably be by the end of September. You'll have to register to get in the passport. There'll be a release prior to Christmas, and then that passport would be valid for next year.
You know what, too? You can bring a record of that. Who could do it the quickest?
Absolutely, right? And also it's on my mind that we might even have ranks, right? Like you might not get an order of Reschs, but maybe you become a lieutenant by getting 10 different venues. Who knows?
Very good. All right. So that's just some of the initiatives that the society will be popping up over the next couple of weeks, months. And I think if you've got an idea out there as well, get in contact with the team. I mean, we're all one big family, so it's a very productive group of people. As you said, both men and women, which is what we love. Now, off to the presentation. You go and get the. I feel like I'm on. Remember Wheel of Fortune with Burjo, and you used to come out with the big prize. Some people say I look like probably John Burgess. Anyway, that's a wrap, baby. Yeah. Now, this is a large check. We've got our next guest joining us, Cameron Dano, and we're going to be talking to Cameron about his charity, My Men's Team. This is a check, though, that the Reschs has with donations. Do you want to explain how that money was accumulated?
Yeah, so effectively all of the stubby holders that we hit you up for, a bunch of that money went to actually get us insurance. We weren't really properly insured before a week or so ago, so one of our members jumped in and helped us bridge that gap, thankfully.
Yep.
And then every other dollar that's left over, we are giving to My Men's Team as a charitable donation. So we've got a novelty check. I might ask Cam Datto to come around, but the number on there in my handwriting, my wife is probably watching and thinking, how on earth did Matt's handwriting get on national TV? This is national TV. Anyway, but we are donating $3,871, and that is on top of the auction proceedings, which are $1,200. So basically, already today, we're guaranteeing $5,000 for your charity.
Yes. I might get you to jump in. Thank you very much, Matt. We'll get you back very later on. Hey, there you go. $5,000 jumps in.
I'm absolutely blown away. That is, I suppose you should have heard more about the men's team before we found out what the money was.
No, that's
This is so great.
yeah. That's what we're going to do now.
Wow.
That's outstanding, and I think that's well, just to see your reaction there with that. Tell us though before we start, how does a boy who grew up in Victoria, like me, not in Victoria but in a state, start loving the silver bullet?
Well, we used to, my folks and my siblings would drive to Yamba from Melbourne every September, and we would have 3.5 weeks in September holidays in Yamba in far north New South Wales on the northern rivers there. Now I was a kid, obviously wasn't able to drink beer, but once I was old enough, someone said you got to try this Reschs, and I think that it was the logo of the guy surfing on a longboard that sort of got me in there. And after a day of surfing, nothing to me tastes better than a Reschs draft.
Yep.
And just nothing tastes better than that. And when I moved to Sydney when I was 18 from Melbourne, and that was the beer of choice.
Outstanding. Okay, so you find yourself here tonight.
Yeah.
Tell us about this charity that because we know you're a busy man, and we know that you're on the go, but you're taking a lot of time to get involved with this, and it's something very close to your heart too.
Yeah, men's, I mean, I sort of stay away from the mental part of it. It's more about emotional health, but it's about coming together. And I think that for me, it started back when I was living in the States, and I was going through some tough times. I put a phone call out an email actually to the fathers at the school, and just basically laid out generally what I was just saying, having a difficult time. If anyone is willing to come and meet me in my garage to tell me what's going on in their life, and we can share it. Anyway, 23 guys turned up that night on that first night, and it fell apart within 3 weeks because we had no, or 3 months rather, we had no structure to the meeting, and we weren't therapists. No one was professional. We're just a bunch of guys sitting around, and we all got busy and went off. Then later on, I was approached by one of those dads about 18 months later, and he said, "You might be interested in this." And they had this 8 guys that would meet twice a month, and they had this program that they did on these particular evenings, and it was so helpful to me. It's not therapy.
Yep.
It's just learning how to communicate better.
Yeah.
And what I found from it was, if in this team, because it's a confidential setting, and you're sitting there and you're in the face of, you learn by reflection,
Yeah.
and story, listening to other people. And I found that what I was going through in the team, when I was outside of the team in life, going through my life, I was faced with situations, difficult situations, with it could have been anyone, my kids, my wife, my friends, as I was saying in our video, bosses, producers, directors, people I was dealing with. I was in difficult situations with them. I'm like, I've already been through a similar situation in my team meeting. I know how to handle this. So I wasn't left floundering for words and stuff. I was like, I actually know what to do, because I'd already done it. So I'd already trained, I'd already practiced. And this is where it's been not only the camaraderie and support, which is what, this is what the Reschs Appreciation Society is about. It's about support, and this is why we go so well together. That's what we do in the team. We support each other. We don't push each other. It's like a hand at your back, and just so you don't fall.
Do you think that, I mean, without getting too in-depth into it, but we don't talk enough, do we, as blokes? We don't open up to each other in certain situations, and it's something that I think, as you've just said, is very important, just getting together in that environment, but then getting together, I think, in that professional environment as well, because as you said, if you don't have that professional environment, us being blokes, I know that we'll catch up as mates all the time, and things happen, but it is very important, isn't it?
Well, this is why I set it up as a team thing, because a lot of us have played sports as kids. We've played in our footy teams, cricket teams, tennis teams, swimming teams, whatever. And when you've got training, you turn up. And so let's treat it like that. We take care of ourselves, our fitness. Why not treat your emotional health as the same sort of deal? So you just turn up to the meeting, and you've got your teammates, and you want to be there because as a collective you can do so much together. And what I learned early on with men's team is that being in a group was, I wasn't alone. And so I laid out, now that very first one where the 23 guys turned up, I just said, this is what I'm going through. And all these other guys sitting around in circles, they go, yeah, I'm going through that too. And suddenly I just felt so much easier because I wasn't the only one. And not just the simple fact that I knew that I wasn't the only one allowed me to relax a bit more, and then try and navigate my way through what I was doing. Part of what we do as men's team, you're not allowed to give advice. Because we blokes, we're not very good at when, well, mate, Dave, this is what you got to do. You got to do this, and you're going to go, you know what, mate, you have that. I'm not going to do that. So we don't give advice. Okay, you might say to me, Cam, what do you think I should do? And I'm like, okay, so you want me to tell you what I would do? So it becomes a conscious thing. We want to just, instead of being like, well, how the Roosters go, or Roosters beat the Bunnies, or the Bombers, whatever, we just want to go a little deeper and ask 3 questions, and then one of the huge benefits of being in a men's team is I'll speak for me, is my ability to listen, because it is so much better now. I'm not so willing to interrupt people anymore and tell them what I think. It's like, oh, you listen, and then it just feels better. And so I know that after a meeting, the next day I always feel good, because I feel like, one, I've been heard, and we all want to be heard, right? And two, I've been able to support and my guys, and the marriages are better off, the relationships with the kids are better off, the friendships are deeper and stronger. So I think that's in what's happening today, in our environment today. You can do it over COVID. You can do it over COVID. You can do it through Zoom.
Yeah.
And the benefits are still massive, and you just don't feel so alone. And this money is just.
It's great, mate. Gee.
We've just had another bid on your.
Hang on, we'll
We've
have
only
another
got
bid.
2 or 3 minutes left, so it's now up to.
So what is it up to? So we did have
Now up to 12:02.
Kip Skelly.
Yeah.
We did have Kip Skelly at 12:01, 12:02. Who's gone to Keith Street? So Streety, you've just gone to 12:02. That's outstanding. That's outstanding. We can
Only
go.
3 or 4
Hey,
minutes to
you've
go.
got 3 or 4 minutes. I don't mind. For the next go up in increments of 1. Let's do it. Let's have a crack. I mean, you just for those watching, you've just seen the emotion of Cam there. That's very moving. And look, just buy it. If my better half wasn't watching this, I'd be donating. But now, we've got some more comments and stuff going through. Now that you've just placed the link in there too, me.
Yeah, so I just reminded people of the link, so we'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay. So more bids you can get on the link. Your website.
Yeah.
Now your website. People out there watching who can't afford the 1202
Yeah.
today, but they
Yeah.
still want to go to your website, make some sort of contribution, or just get involved. Where can they go?
MyMen'sTeam.org.
Okay.
Yeah, MyMen'sTeam.org, and you can sign up there. It's free. You can download the blueprints on there, how to hold your own meetings. That's what we want to. It's not. We want to make sure guys know that it's not something that's been handed to you.
Yeah.
It's you do it yourself. You put it together, and it becomes. We want to be autonomous. We want to take charge of our own lives and be responsible. And I'm telling you, everyone benefits from this. And so it's mymensteam.org. The money will be used to once create our meetings and get the word out further. And so it's just a huge boost for us to get going. And it's so appreciated. We're so grateful.
Outstanding. Now, while the remaining minutes of the auction unfold, we've got the Reschs, don't we?
Absolutely.
We can do that, and either that's not the way the Ronade's going to
Yeah.
work. That's how
That's the way
we're going to
we're
go
gonna do it.
road.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have the Reschs serenading us. The Reschs. Well, why don't you change your name to the Reschs? They're called. It says here the Refreshinators. But what about you don't like the Reschs? No? Refreshinators. Now, gentlemen, in fact,
Deodorant.
I think it's the Refreshinators. Actually, there you go. Well, we just saw. Actually, that came up. We saw the another beer brand release a cologne. What do you think the Reschs cologne should smell like? Everyone in the room. What should the Reschs cologne smell like?
Pilsner.
Pilsner.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
Pilsner. Well, hang on. No, I'm thinking about Cairn. Like it should smell like the beach. You know, when you're sandy, you've come back in from the surf.
Like the
A
surf.
little salty kind of
Yeah.
lemony thing.
Yeah.
You're at the little bolo up in the north coast.
Oh.
There's no one around.
You got crisp Reschs right there.
Number 32, your schnitzel's ready, bang.
yeah.
Just that
It's
job.
It's more about just giving a couple of fingers in the draft.
Actually, it smells like New South Wales. There you go. So here we go. This is the Refreshinators. They're going to be singing a song for us. Now, please get on and get involved with the auction. As I said, while this song's on, the auction will still be going, and we're at $1,202. Take it away, guys. What's the title of this song?
It's called Reschs Pilsner.
Okay.
It goes a little bit something like this.
I've heard there is sacred brew that many drink. It's shunned by few, but you don't care for craft beers, do ya? Well, it comes in bottles and now in cans, not poured by publicans, so it makes sweat, drinking the full Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner, come on, sing it! Reschs Pilsner. My chorus. Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner. Thanks, Steve. On your faith, the strong that you need to prove. But so the can, it's not a spoon. The beauty of the perfect rule of truth. Makes recovered despair, but we had the luck and some pain to share, and from our lips we drew the Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner. But maybe we've all been here before. RAS members united, rich and poor. You know that we're all friends before we knew you. You surf a bloke on a frosty tap. We love the brew with our badges and caps, with a cold and your new shiny Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner. Reschs Pilsner, Reschs Pilsner. We'll take it down. There was a time they nearly let us go. It would have been a savage blow, but we never surrendered to the crappies, But men's health is important too. We owe a debt to all of you, and every drink we brew is Reschs Pilsner. 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 Reschs Pilsner.
Outstanding. Guys, at that song, I asked you pre-show, how long did it take to write the Reschs Pilsner song?
Oh yeah, I was having a few Reschs actually, and,
Yes.
and I was looking at the original lyrics, and they just came to me. The surfer bloke, men's health, the whole thing, the whole community thing sort of came to me, and just it was one of those things. It was like an epiphany, I was saying to Matt, I think Edmund Reschs was actually looking after me. So, yeah, but he'll probably help me with copyright infringement as well. You're right.
Well, if only we could make that #1 on Spotify in the next couple of days. But
we've got an anthem now.
we've got an anthem. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I think we're going to get another song from you a little bit later on.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Another 5 songs. Do you know you were doing 5 today?
Just one. We've already murdered one. We're going to murder another one.
All right. Thank you very much. Round of applause again at home. Just start clapping. So David start asking what's going on. Just say, tell them to get started. Now, what we're going to do is we've closed the auction. Now, the winner of the auction for 2,000, not 2,000, 1,000, 2002 is Streety. So a round of applause for Streety.
1,202.
1,202 votes. Keith Street. Well done, mate. You've beaten Kip Skelly. Now that goes on top of the $3,871, mate. So
That's over $5,000.
just over 5,000.
Thank you so much.
That's extraordinary stuff, mate.
Yeah.
Before we let you go from this broadcast, mate, anything else you'd like to say to anyone out there that's listening, that's watched, that wants to get involved, that, as I said, couldn't purchase the carton, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, if you would love to visit our website, it's mymensteam.org. You can donate, if you donate your coffee money for tomorrow. There's a donate button there, and as I said, you can join up.
Beautiful.
there too, and just we'd love to get this started. And I'm just so grateful for the kickoff, you know, and it's really exciting.
All right, well,
Thanks to Matt.
Thank
Thank you
Matt.
so much.
We'll
mate.
do the.
Yeah.
I mean, what world are we living in where we're all going fair? Anyway, hopefully we're all back to normal very soon. Thank you very much, Ken, for coming in and enjoy the nice cold silver balls, mate. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. That's outstanding. Over 5,000. Now, we're going to,
Take my beer back.
well, we're going to continue on. We've got another special guest joining us. I know a lot of people at the live events. In fact, the first time she comes in here, Alice Reschs comes in. Would have met Alice, heard Alice speak last time, but there are also some new members since that last time. So, Alice, just tell us, for the people that don't know anything about the Reschs family name, your association with the great man behind us on the family tree.
Edmund Reschs is my great-grandfather, and Edmund Jr. and Arnold were his sons, and Arnold Reschs was my grandfather.
Wow.
And then it keeps coming down, obviously, to me.
How, to have this sort of love for this beer and to see that family name up in lights, and I guess the big thing too, the history that's spoken about it as well, because we all, away from beer, we all use things that have come from somewhere, they've come from a family creation in the past, and I think that's not spoken about with a lot of products we have, but it's spoken about with this beer, and everyone in the society knows about the Reschs family. That must make you quite proud.
Oh, look, no pressure, guys. It's hard to find a story that the Reschs Appreciation Society I'm not familiar with, or great supporters of it, and yeah, it makes me incredibly proud, and it's a wonderful thing. I mean, today is an incredibly special event that we've got this up and going again, and good work, brilliant.
There's one particular story that Matt asked me to ask you about, and he hasn't told me what the story is. He said, just ask, Alice knows the story.
I think on the boxes, Matt has sanctioned a story that came from my father back, my great-grandfather, back in the days of the First World War, when the soldiers from the brewery were conscripted, and obviously they were put onto soldiers' salaries, but the story in the family, and I think it can be validated, goes that Edmund Reschs Sr. decided that it was important to pay them full salary whilst they were away at war. And then we were just talking a little bit earlier, and I was asked to add the bit that this also continued to happen whilst Edmund himself was interned, which is maybe a little bit of Australians' history that Australians aren't all that familiar with about German nationals or enemy aliens being interned. But he was in fact the oldest intern, I believe. And I also hear, although it was a very challenging and trying time, I think he was a reasonably popular inmate, but I guess if you own a brewery, you're going to find a few friends in the guards.
I mean, you must have so much history from the family. I know you're obviously involved here at the Imperial Hotel in Paddington, where we are, but you're also involved with the Sir John Young Hotel, which is undergoing a bit of a renovation. And there's something, drop that name down, punters out there, because there's something very special from a Reschs point of view happening at that venue, isn't it, when it reopens?
Yes, look, I very much hope so. There's been a lot of changes in the city, and obviously we're in reasonably uncertain times, but we're pretty certain, and we're forging forward with some renovations down there, and we would hope to be able to showcase some of our family memorabilia in there when we get up and going. Possibly spring, possibly a bit later, but we'll make sure the society knows we're in touch. And we have a fair amount of information. I come from, well, many families in Australia come from somewhere else, and immigrant families or war families tended to save a lot of things. And when my grandmother passed away just over 20 years ago, we found a fair bit of things hidden under her bed.
So because we've got some obviously memorabilia in this room we're at in the Imperial, a very beautiful room, but I did ask, so you've got some stuff, because on the page, the association or the society's page, you'll see a lot of people love putting up those old paintings, photos, even I loved that, and it's now, I think, your masthead or whatever you want to call it on Facebook, of that old couple back, with the silver bullets, and just, that sort of stuff, I think it's special. So you've got a lot of it?
We've got a fair bit.
Oh,
We've
okay.
got We've got a few
Beautiful.
surprises up our sleeve, I hope. I hope to find something that society doesn't know about and then to open it up a bit wider.
No, that's it. So that's the Sir John Young Hotel, obviously connected here with the Imperial Hotel as well. I think we're going to have a special little comment from. Well, actually, would you want to do it, Alice?
Well,
Or
or you,
you.
but we would like to add $500 from each pub to the men's team.
Oh,
Yeah.
To bring it up a little bit.
6,000.
more.
Oh,
That's outstanding. Thank you very much, Hugh, and thank you to also Alice. And that's we'll put a call out to other publicans that are maybe watching this, or if you're watching this and you've got a good association with your publican at your venue, if they want to get involved and donate 500 as well, as the Sir John Young has and the Imperial, then get on board because you know it's going to a very, very good cause. Alice, thanks so much for coming in. I've seen you, you know, with the guys singing before. You actually made the comment about live music. I mean, we're in a pub that's not obviously open at the moment due to COVID, but there's something about the live music in a venue, and then with this beautiful beer in front of us too.
But nothing beats a pub with a good coffee.
There's some
Really nothing. Well, and you have the music. And,
there's some light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there?
yeah, and I'm pretty excited about the medals. I'm hoping. I'm anxious to see who's going to be the first one. I actually reckon that Hugh could well, he could drink the beers, but could he travel the journey? I open the challenge. We should incentivise that. We can talk about that a bit later.
That's it. And of course, for those that have just checked into the Facebook page, there's the Reschs passport coming to hopefully your post box soon.
This one, yeah.
Here it is here. So this is 60 venues, Matt. You're going to try because if someone's just logged on to the this is how it works.
just
So you
logged
just
on.
roll with it. So
Yeah.
60 venues.
Yeah, if you're just logged on, you're going to basically, if you visit every preferred venue in a year, you're going to get get entitled to use the post nominals OOR. That stands for Order of Resch, and a Resch will knight you with that
Resch will
honour.
knight
So, yeah, pretty
That's
good
it.
reason to get out and support the regions.
Exactly right. All right, now we do have one more song coming up tonight with our talented musicians. This will also close tonight's presentation. Big thanks to everyone for tuning in. We know it's obviously a Saturday night. We saw the comments all during the week. It's a shame we all couldn't be together, but it is one crazy year, 2020, and it just means when we get together when this all this crap's over, that we go very hard. And of course, we've got all that free grog coming from CUB, as we said at the start, so we're in for a hell of a time in a couple of months' time, especially when it starts to warm up over the summer. I think a big thanks has to go to Matt Hendricks and all of the RAS team. And I think you'd be the first person to say, Matt, that it's not just yourself. There's a whole team behind you. And also to you all out there watching this and commenting and bringing back a beer to our shelves that is bloody beautiful to drink. Big thanks to Cam as well and his organisation. Exciting times ahead. I think that's a marriage made in heaven. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take it away for our final night. That's been our live broadcast on Facebook. And what's the final song, guys? What have you got for us?
Let's go, Duncan.
The twist.
I have a risk with Matt Hendricks. I have a risk with Matt. We drink in moderation, and he's always good for a bit of a chat. We drink at the lovely Imperial, where the atmosphere is great. I have a risk with Matty, cause Matty's me mate. I love to have a risk with Grant. I have a risk with Grant. He's busy moderating, but doesn't stop him having a rant. We drink at the lovely Imperial, where the atmosphere is great. I have a risk with Grant, cause Grant is me mate. Ready, Grant? Hey! I have a risk with the rest group. I have a risk with them. We drink in moderation. We never stop drinking this liquid gin. We drink at the lovely Imperial, where the atmosphere is great. I'll have a riches with the rest group, cause the rest group are me mates. We love to have a rush with the Hendricks. We'll have a riches with Matt. We drink for Matt's inspirations. We wouldn't be drinking where we're at. We drink at the lovely Imperial, where the atmosphere is great. We'll have a riches with Matty, cause Matty's me mate. We love to have a races with Matty, 'cause Maddie's our mate.